Hey, what is going on, guys? DK. Back at you with another video here to bring the Monday Night Football Showdown slate. We have the Chargers and the Raiders. But before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. My name is DK. I make daily videos and live stream for NBA and NFL slates on Draftkings. If you're unable to watch these YouTube videos, I also upload an Apple Podcast. I'll have a link in the description below. It's called the DKDFS show. If you're interested in signing up for premium content, now is a good time. Start of the month. NFL package, we go over every single show on slate as well as the main slates. NBA, that includes preseason. So for the NBA, we had a great start. It was only a Showdown slate, but yeah, DK logos all over the NBA contest. And congrats to Brendan Wilson on the takedown. $11 in entry fees. What is that? I don't know. 2,500 in winnings. Takedown took down the big tournament. So yeah. Great to see that. Another takedown as well. So yeah, in the NBA package again, covered in preseason and off to a pretty solid start here. Would have been even better too if Nick Claxton didn't pick up like 4 fouls in 4 minutes, but don't get me started on that. And I do want to thank today's sponsor, Prize Picks. So if you guys are not familiar with Prize Picks, there are a couple different ways you can play for the NFL. The first way is to take over, under, and start up fancy points. Or you can go over to single stat and take over-under on passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards, receptions, touchdowns, receiving touchdowns, pass completions, interceptions. They do have NBA stuff. This is for the preseason, so they have a lot of players posted for tomorrow. I'm guessing they'll post more too. So again, they do have NBA preseason. They have obviously NFL. You can do first half contests as well. Really, you can mix and match everything too. So I like it, guys. It's a nice change of pace because you're not playing against someone, you're just playing against the house. If you guys want to try it out, you can sign up, use my code DKDFS. DKDFS, all one word, link down below. Get a 100% match up to $100. So you deposit using my code $100, you'll get a free $100 to play with on the site. And finally, I want to thank you guys again, and as we get so close to the 10,000 subscriber mark on YouTube, I think it's at 9.97. So if you're watching this and not subscribed, please hit that big red subscribe button. Also, make sure to like the video. Let's try to aim for 100 likes on this one, and hit the notification bell so you don't upload videos and go live. I'll be doing a live stream for the Showdown site as well as probably more on the Patreon side for the NBA preseason slate if that's something that interests you guys. Okay, so before we hop into talking about players and the prices, let's look back at my lineup here for the Sunday night slate. So Sunday night, I played super light. I just didn't love the slate. There was just too many options on both teams, right? You had the Patriots had like 4 running backs. You had Tampa Bay with 2. You know, we didn't know if Keyshawn Vaughn was gonna be worked in at all. So just one I played light. I kind of went for that team jam them in, like put Brait in the captain spot and jammed in the top guys. Now I did talk about, on Patreon at least, fading Tom Brady. I think it made some sense for GP, so I thought he'd be a little bit over-owned at that price point. He was about 90%, which is kind of crazy in the middle maker that he was 90% owned. But yeah, that was it for my the look back for the show and say kind of forgettable. But the main slate went really well. We'll go over that in the my early look video. Could have been even better too. I had a Hurt stack with Zach Ertz. There's like 2 or 3 touchdowns called back for Philly. I didn't watch any of the games today, but I know there's at least 2 TDs called back for the Eagles. I had Tyreek Hill in that bring back. Also Travis Kelce, obviously a little bit of letdown. But yeah, we'll go over that lineup in my next video. And this was the winning lineup in the luxury box, and this is a $2,000 entry. So it was Matt Jones in the captain with Mike Evans, Myers, Leonard Fournette, Aguilar, and Ryan Suckup. Just a kind of gross game overall, 19-17. Not a real fun one. All right, guys, so let's start off with the Raiders. Oh, really quick, the Vegas odds. Yes, it's 51.5 over-under, and the Chargers are 3-point favorites. All right, so starting off the road team and the Raiders, let's take a look at snap counts for last week. So last week, Peyton Barber played at 57% of the snaps. He got a majority of the carries. Kenyon Drake, 43%. But Josh Jacobs is questionable, leaning like, it looks like, at least to me, because he practiced, was it on Saturday, that he's going to be good to go. So if he is, it's obviously a massive downgrade to guys like Barber and Drake. At wide receiver, so Brian Edwards played the most, 76% of the snaps. We had Henry Ruggs playing about half the game along with Renfro in the slot, and Zay Jones played about a quarter of the game. At tight end, no real surprise here. Dan Roller playing a majority of the game. Foster Moreau got mixed in a bit, about 60% of the snaps. Okay, so starting off with the Raiders side, and Derek Carr at 10.8K, I think a pretty safe option. He's had a good start to the year, 28, 27, 25 fantasy points. This is a higher total game. So, in higher total games, it's always, a good idea to get at least one quarterback, possibly both in if you can get them in there. But I just think he's one of the safer plays on the board. I don't think we had to spend a ton of time here. Safe, relatively cheap at only 10.8K. So, yeah, I like Derek Carr. Darren Waller at 9.2K feels a little bit underpriced for the type of upside he has. Right, we saw in game 1, 19 targets. Last couple weeks, he's just been subpar, 5 catches and 7 targets each of the last 2 weeks. But again, we know the game plan is to get the ball to Darren Waller. He's a red zone target. This is a high total game. I like Darren Waller. I think he's a little bit too cheap there at 9.2. Now, Josh Jacobs coming in at 7.68. They have him listed as questionable. If he plays, he's a fine contrarian option. My issue is he's not really going to be involved in the passing game. Kenyon Drake would probably get the passing down work. And maybe they even work in a little bit of Peyton Barber, too, since he played well last game. So, Jacobs, if he does play, I think he's more of a contrarian option. Now, if he misses, I don't think he misses, but if he does, then it's going to be a combo of Barber and Kenyon Drake. Barber got a majority of the carries, going for 23 and over 100 yards. A little bit surprising. He also had 3 catches and 5 targets. So he and Kenyon Drake would be viable if Josh Jacobs is out. If Josh Jacobs was in, it's really a messy backfield that makes all 3 probably just GPP only. Probably wouldn't touch Peyton Barber if Jacobs is in. But, yeah, Jacobs and Drake would be GPP only plays for me if Jacobs does play. Okay, so Henry Ruggs coming in at I don't know what's going on with DraftKings. Obviously his price is 6.4K, but then you click on his name and it has the captain salary in. So I think that's just a glitch in their system or something. I don't know, maybe it's just on my end. But with Henry Ruggs, he played in just over half the game. He's got the big play upside. He has a low floor though. So I would say he's more of a tournament only play for me too. But yeah, a guy that does have upside, he's going to run those deep routes. So he can definitely break a long one, does have that type of upside. So obviously you can go to him in a GPP format. Renfrow, I think, is a little bit safer, right? I think he plays about half the game, depending on how the game flows. Right? If they fall behind early, they're going to run more 3 wide receiver sets, so he'll play more. If they're playing from the lead, he probably plays a little bit less. 9, 7, 6 targets, pretty solid. Again, playing out of the slot. I think he's a very safe play. I do. We're not getting him at the major discount he was the first show on slate. Remember, he was 2K the first show on slate. But even a 5.8K, I think he's still a pretty safe option. And then Bryan Edwards at 5K also feels like a decent price. He actually played the most snaps, right? If you go back and look at the Raiders and the wide receivers, he played 76% of snaps. No, he hasn't done a ton, right? 5 targets, 3 targets, 5 targets. But he's been getting a lot of praise from the Raiders. Obviously, we got a lot of hype from him in the preseason leading up to the regular season. So both these Raiders receivers, I think, are a little bit safer. And you have Ruggs, probably a little bit more boom or bust. All right, CARLSON at 3.8K. He's gone actually for double-digit fantasy points the first 3 weeks. Kickers, we know, are safe plays, right? They kind of upside. Upside for kicker usually about 10 to 15. So, yeah, no issue really with going to a kicker. They always seem to go a little bit lower owned than they should on the show on slates. As far as the defenses go, when it's a super high total game, I usually look to avoid. Now, they can get there, right? But they're probably going to need a defensive touchdown or an outlier game. It's not something I'm going to try to predict, at least for my one lineup. Zay Jones, nothing more than a large field tournament play. Probably plays on maybe a quarter of the game unless someone gets injured. So hard to feel confident about that. ALEC INGOLD, if he does play. In his first game, he had 4 catches and 4 targets. So again, large field tournament play if he does play the fullback. And then Foster Moreau, the backup tight end, has had 5 targets the last couple games. Not bad for a guy at this price range. So I think he's at least worth a look. And he did play over half the game. Okay, so that is it for the Raiders. Let's move on to the Chargers, and let's take a look at some snap counts here. So last game, Austin Eckler played a majority of the game, 75% of the snaps, while Justin Jackson and Roundtree played on 11 and 17% respectively. At wide receiver, Keenan Allen, 83%. Mike Williams, who's having a breakout season, 73%. And then you had GUYTON played 62%, with Palmer playing a little bit there at 15%. And at tight end, Jared Cook played 70% of the snaps. The XFL legend, Donald Parham, just about half the game. And Scott Anderson, the blocking tight end, about 21% of the snaps. Okay, so looking at the Chargers, we have Herbert, 11.2K. I do think it's a little bit easier to get to Derek Carr for the discount. Right? It's Herbert's, 11.2. I guess, yeah, Carr's only 10.8. I thought for some reason he was a little bit cheaper than that. So, yeah, both quarterbacks, again, safe options, right? They have a high floor, high total game. There's projected to be a good amount of points, obviously, with the over-under pushing 50+. Neither defense is great. You saw the upside Herbert from last game, right? 30 fantasy points. So again, both quarterbacks, safe plays. You can get both in if you can find enough value in there. Definitely is probably the way to go for cash game setting. Now, Mike Williams at 10-2. Just feels like you're paying a premium for him, right? I know he's been phenomenal. I know, but like, I just don't like paying premiums for guys. I know he's having a breakout season, and it's a scary fade, but I think he's going to be a little bit over-owned. I don't think he's going to continue to, average, close to 30 fantasy points a game. So I think he comes back down to earth a little bit here. The same thing I said about Cooper Kupp versus Robert Woods. I was like, yes, Cooper Kupp is having a phenomenal year, but like, you would think regression comes his way and Robert Woods picks it up, and it happened. Obviously today, Robert Woods had a solid game. Cooper Kupp not as much. So I'm not saying it's a lot to happen. I just don't know if Mike Williams continues to put up this level of production. I do think he will get a good amount of ownership because of box score watchers. So not saying he's out of play. I personally just think he'll be a little bit too owned on this one. Now Austin Eckler at 9.6K, super safe play. Going to play 3/4 of the game. He's getting a lot of red zone carries. Super involved in the passing game, right? The week 1 was so weird. 0 catches and 0 targets, but 9 catches and 9 targets, 6 catches and 6 targets. Raiders defense I'm not scared of. So I think Austin Eckler, very, very safe play. And I really like Keenan Allen at this price. 8.8K for Keenan Allen. Give me Allen over Mike Williams all day long. Really like this price. Just a guy that's going to get double-digit targets almost every single week. Super high floor as well as a high ceiling. Eckler, Keenan Allen, really like them. Again, the thing I like about the Chargers, condensed target. You know where the ball is going, right? Through the air, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Eckler on the ground. It's going to be Eckler, right? You know where the ball is going. So really the main 3 guys all look pretty good, below Herbert. But Eckler, Keenan Allen probably look a little bit better for me, point per dollar. And then scroll down to the cheap place here for the Chargers. So Jared Cook at 4.4K. We're going to need some value. There's no smash value plays on the slate, but Jared Cook I think is a guy you can look to. Or if you go to look to snap count, 70% of the snaps. So he's going to play majority of the game. 8, 5, and 3 targets. Not bad. He's a guy that can look to in the red zone. And again, there's not a lot of great value. So Jared Cook, certainly in play. And then the Chargers kicker, obviously viable. As I said, the kickers are safer options. Defense is not really looking to either in this one. GUYTON on where the slate kind of lacks in value, I think does make some sense. Only 0 catches and 1 target last week, but he's still played a good amount of the game. Right? He played 62% of the snaps, so I think he is definitely in play for some salary relief. Also, XFL legend Donald Parham hasn't really been super involved in the first 3 games, only 1 catch. But he is a good receiving tight end, and he did play about half the game last game. So in a large field tournament, I think Donald Parham is viable. And same thing with Roundtree and Justin Jackson, right? These guys probably get a couple carries each. They can obviously run one in. That's what you're hoping for. Their price point's $1K for Roundtree, $200 for Justin Jackson. But they're probably only going to get 2, 3 touches, maybe 4 in this game, unless something happens to Eckler. So right now, just large field tournament plays. And that's what it. Like Gabe Neighbors, fullback. I guess you can consider the fullback, right? Like Raiders fullback. Week 1 had a good game. And obviously we saw Juszczyk last week. But yeah, that's basically it. I mean, Sky Anderson's the third string tight end. I guess he does have 3 catches through 3 weeks, but not something you're going to feel great about. But yeah, that's really it for the breakdown, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content, would really appreciate it if you could hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload videos and go live. Again, guys, I'll be doing a YouTube live stream before lock, so make sure to check that one out. Thanks again. Have a great night, and I will see you all tomorrow in the live stream.